You know, I really should make another video. Just been so preoccupied with Warhammer. Wait a second. Oh cool, they added the Grail Knight. With the introduction of the Grail Knight career for Kruber, it has revealed that the other characters in the Uberstrike 5 are also going to be getting new careers. And since speculation is what I do best, I would like to take a crack at the next member, Bardin. So starting with the idea that personally makes me the most excited is a Master Engineer career. First, I'll start with how he would look, his appearance, and there are actually quite a few options to choose from. For one, and the one that I kind of like the most, is the rune bandana that you see in the 7th edition Rune Lord, I believe. The other options, of course, could be a helmet with the optic over the eye, which is the current Cogsmith, Master Engineer, depending on what edition you play. And as for his uniform or his body appearance, I noticed that a lot of the Master Engineer figures had pointed shoulders to them. When looking over the other dwarf figures, they didn't seem to have that, so that seems something unique to Master Engineers, which can be replicated in his appearance. Moving on to what weapons could be introduced with this career, I will start with some existing weapons reskins that could be added. Starting with the Cog Axe. Again, with the newest figure, the Cogsmith, who in 8th edition was a Master Engineer, the Cog Axe could just simply be a reskin of the Great Axe. Alternatively, you can have the Cog Hammer, which was used in the figure during 7th edition with the rune bandana, and that could take the place of a Warhammer. But with new weapons, since this is a ranged focused class, I thought we could get 2 or 1 or the other new ranged weapons. The first one would be the Trollhammer Torpedo, and the second one would be a Dwarven Pistol Brace. The Trollhammer Torpedo is a really interesting idea because we have the Drake gun, and the Trollhammer Torpedo is pretty much just an attachment to the Drake gun, but it is completely unique in its own regards. The way it could be implemented into the game is one that it could have low ammo, armor piercing, and anti-monster capability. That reflects its lore-wise use of, well, being meant to be taking down trolls. And what do we have? Bile trolls and rat ogres and other large monsters that this could excel at taking down. Now, this would obviously be only available to the Master Engineer career and also cross over to the Ironbreaker, but the Ranger and the Slayer obviously cannot use it. The Pistol Brace, however, would be similar to the one that Saltspire has. It would be higher damage than the Drakefire pistols, but require ammo. And this could be available for every career that Bardin has except for the Slayer. Now, for his abilities, I believe that the passive ability could be called Fine Tuning, which would make reload speed faster, possibly in an aura for every one of his allies. This could even be a skill tree effect. And for his career ability, I would like to call it Extra Powder, which is shamelessly pulled from Warhammer Total War. What Extra Powder would do, it would make all ranged attacks become armor piercing, or become even more damaging against armor if they are already armor piercing. This is another ability that could be shared across, or in an aura, for all of his allies to take advantage of, and this would be really good for when you come into a pack of storm vermin, or maybe you're facing off against 3 chaos warriors and you just really need that armor piercing. So, a summary for this class would be it is a ranged base hero that is specialized in dealing with armor and monsters. The second career idea that I had was for the Rune Lord. Right now, magic in the Uberstrike 5 is really kind of just pushed to Sienna, and she's the only one who can capitalize it. So adding the Rune Lord would be a way to expand it without taking the steam away from Sienna, no pun intended. Again, starting with his appearance, Rune Lords have a pretty distinct look to them. They have anvil helmets, and even in the older figures, they had face shields for when they were working the forge. In terms of their general garb, it could probably be a more robed look, but still be armored, obviously, because after all, he's a dwarf. In terms of weapons that could be added, I have 2 reskins and 1 possible new addition. The 2 reskins would be the Rune Staff, which kind of just looks like a reskin of the Warhammer, and the Forge Hammer, which obviously is a reskin of the one-handed hammer. But what the new weapon would be, and this is kind of a maybe joke / semi-serious suggestion, is forging tongs. Yes, just tongs. In the 8th edition of Warhammer Fantasy, the Apprentice Runesmith would actually be only armed with tongs that he could attack people with. So this could be a good homage to Oldhammer, and also be a kind of funny, interesting new weapon. As for his loadout, I had the idea that he would not have a ranged secondary. He could be similar to the Slayer in that he can carry 2 melee weapons, but he would have to rely on his abilities for his ranged attack. Which brings us into his abilities. Starting with the passive ability, and this is one that I kind of think is a cool idea, is Rune Lore. It could work similar to his Gromril armor ability, which blocks a hit every 30 seconds, and that it could have a chance to dispel magic every so often. So when a life leech teleports in and tries to grab hold of him, there's a chance that he can dispel it and have it teleport away to then try and attack again. Same thing with a Blightstormer. If a Blightstormer is causing up his storm and no one stops him in time and it activates it, if it tries to suck up Bardin, he can dispel it and have the storm dissipate, in which case the Blightstormer is going to have to try and summon it again, giving more opportunity for you to kill him before he gets it off. The career ability would be Rune of Wrath and Ruin, which for anyone who is experienced with either Warhammer Total War or Oldhammer itself, that's probably rings some bells. Now, the Rune of Wrath and Ruin would be similar to Sienna in that holding it down would create a circle on the ground, probably a runic looking circle, that you could position where you want it to set off. And then upon releasing it, would release this massive blast that would be good for clearing out crowds. This ability would probably be one that recharges quite fast, as it's his main source of ranged attack, but since it is so damaging, you need to find a good balance between that. So in summary of the Rune Lord, it is a melee-based career that is effective against magic users and takes a lot of the magic burden off of Sienna. Lastly, I have a honorable mention, and that is the Hammerer. Now, the Hammerer was cool because they have a very distinct look. They have like a flat-topped helmet, and of course they wield massive hammers. But the problem is that they really don't have any interesting weapons or abilities that could warrant being their own career entirely. They're just kind of a more specialized Ironbreaker, which, you know, since we already have an Ironbreaker career, doesn't really make sense to add a new one. It'd be pretty redundant. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope that some of these careers piqued your interest, and I hope they get you excited as much as I am to see Bardin. Besides Kruber, Bardin is my second main, so seeing a new career for him is kind of exciting for me. And like I said, the idea for the Master Engineer career really does get me excited because I like playing with range when I can, and this would provide me one way to not feel guilty about using anything other than the crossbow on the Ranger career. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really enjoyed making it. This is the first time I've been really passionate about a video in quite a while, if you couldn't tell by the length of time it took for me to upload this video. If you liked it, please show your support. It really does help me, and it really does push me to create more of these videos. I probably wouldn't have come back if it hadn't been for the couple of people who would comment saying that they missed me. So to those people, thank you. It really does mean a lot to me, you guys. And again, I'm just really sorry that I've been gone for so long. but I promise I'll try and make it up to you guys. All right, I think I dragged it on long enough. Have a wonderful day and see you guys next time. Bye.